Sounds good. Welcome everyone. So we've got some announcements today. We have some upcoming special interest groups. We've got Web Dev tomorrow at 10 Pacific, 1 Eastern. And we've got User Services Monday at 12 Pacific, 3 Eastern. Acquisitions next Tuesday, the 20th, 9 Pacific, 12 Eastern. The Consortia SIG is the week after that at 9 Pacific, 12 Eastern. Books and Crafts, we're meeting Wednesday the 28th at 5 Pacific / 8 Eastern. And we're reading Stormfront, the first Dresden Files book. Thought it was Halloween-y. And then the Cataloging SIG is meeting Thursday, November 5th at 8 Pacific, 11 Eastern. Next week, we're also going to be talking, or next month at the general meeting, we're also going to be talking about the financial manager position that we've been talking about for a couple of years now. Does anyone else have any announcements? Okay. Elections. We're opening nominations for our election cycle is coming right up. We'll open nominations today. I'll send out the email after this meeting. And this year we are electing our vice president, who will be president next year. Rhonda will be our president for 2021. We're also electing a new treasurer and a new member at large supported. So the email about those will go out later today, and there's a link to the bylaws, which entails like which defines what those positions entail. If you have any questions, you can also email info@koha-US.org and we'll get back to you. Does anyone have any questions about nominations or the election? Oh, and then we'll open voting like at the next meeting. So then
Are we mailing in votes or do we have to show up in person?
We've done a Google form the last few years that gets sent out to members. You do have to be a member in good standing to be a board member and to vote. So check out
Do I need to show government issued ID?
No. We'll just send the form to your associated email address and make you put in your name so we know that you're not voting too many times. Which is more than once is too many times. Any other elections? Koha-US elections questions? Okay.
Just to note that I voted in Maryland last Saturday, and I urge everyone else to vote as soon as they can for something else.
Heather's got her I voted sticker. Our ballots came in the mail last night. Washington's a mail-in state. Anyway,
I have a picture of me putting my ballot into the official Maryland voting box.
Nice. Okay, 2020 conference follow-up. So we had our conference last month and we did our general meeting for the month there. It went really well. We had like 200, almost 250 people register. We had a lot of views on our YouTube. Overall, the feedback was really good. And all the slides and presentations are up on the website, koha-us.org. At the bottom of the Learn From Us page is where all the conference postings are, including for past conferences as well. Any videos or slides we have are all linked there.
Are they going to be there, at least by internet terms, forever?
That's the plan at this point. We haven't.
Okay.
We have their own page still for each of them, so it just, if we really need to clean up the Learn From Us page, we could make a separate conferences page that has the list to all the conferences things. So.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure that if I link from my site, always good.
Yeah, that's the plan. And we'd probably talk about it at a meeting if we were planning on moving the list of conference information to a different page.
Yeah, I would put it there. for
Okay.
information,
Any
but
questions
I don't
about the
think we need
2020
that.
conference follow-up? Okay. 2021 conference update. So as we've discussed before, we're planning on having our 2021 conference in McKinney since we weren't able to do it there this year. And we do have the dates for that now are going to be, oh, I keep going to the wrong day, September 20th to 23rd. That's Monday through Thursday, the same week that we were going to have it this year. And so we normally we'd send out an email. We'll send out an email soon with the dates and then more reminders closer when we have the ability to like reserve rooms in the room block and everything. So looking forward to that next year. Any questions about the 20? Oh wait, also for the conference committee, we're also planning on doing Koha-thon 2 in this spring. And if you're interested in being on the conference committee for either the McKinney conference or Koha-thon, please let me know. Info at koha-us.org or president at koha-us.org or any other way you know to get in contact with me. And I'll get you added to the mailing list. We often have met after the general meeting. That's, I believe, what's on the calendar for next month, to meet after the November general meeting and kind of make a timeline for what we need to do for both conferences and who's going to work on which conferences. So if you're interested in those, please let me know. And if that meeting time doesn't work for you, you can also let me know and we can try and, make a meeting time that works for the people who are interested in helping with the planning. Just because that's what's worked in the past doesn't mean that's what we need to keep doing. Any questions about the 2021 conference update? Okay. We're already down to committee reports. Conference committee, I've pretty much covered. Last year's conference, next year's conference. Development committee, Rhonda.
Okay. All right. We are still, as far as I know, waiting to get our contract back from Bywater, and then we will move forward with that. We're also looking at kind of rejigging the process for submitting development. So we'll keep you posted on that. So that's pretty much what's going on right now.
Thanks, Rhonda. When's the next development meeting? In case anyone's interested in joining.
We have them on Fridays. Let me see. I've got the. I was just wondering that myself. So let's. Oop, just did the wrong one. Okay.
Rhonda, I'm showing one on Friday, November 6th. Does that sound right?
Yes. Yeah. Because I think we were meeting at the end of the month, and now I think we're meeting at the beginning of the first Friday.
So November 6th is our next meeting. And yeah, thanks, Rhonda.
Okay.
Education committee, we didn't end up meeting last month because our meeting would have been during the conference on the the second day of the conference last month. And we didn't have time to we didn't end up rescheduling it. We're planning on meeting next week at the same time as this meeting, Wednesday at 8:30 Pacific. We have our cool new, I think we have 3 up now of our every other Thursday videos that Christopher and George are making. Four.
Number four,
Four up.
number 4 is coming out tomorrow.
Okay, cool. Number 4 is coming out tomorrow. And thanks to Christopher and George for doing those. They're great. We got some good feedback on that from a few people. So thanks for doing that. That's kind of our big thing that's going on right now since they've been making those, even though we haven't been meeting. So thank you for that. And check them out on our website and our YouTube page. Fundraising committee also didn't meet last month. Almost everyone who's on the fundraising committee is also on the conference committee. So we were a little busy with that. John, finance committee report.
This would normally be a pretty busy month as the month after the conference, but since we held a virtual conference and none of the in-person expenses associated with the conference took place, there really isn't a whole lot of change to report financially for the organization. The lack of an in-person conference also means we did not see the typical increase in membership that we'll see. Past conferences, that is to say 2018 and 2019, the 2 years in which membership was an option, have always provided an option for people to join at the same time that they register. Well, we didn't charge anything for people to register, but we did take information on those that had expressed an interest in joining koha-US. That interest is going to be further explored very shortly, and we're going to be doing it a little bit differently than what we had been in the past. We'll be going ahead and opening up 2021 membership and providing those that have an interest in joining to get the rest of 2020, all 2.5 months of it, for free, if you will, because there are really no incredibly major decisions or voting going on with the exception of the board elections. So they'll pay $25 if interested. The entirety of those dues will go towards 2021 membership with none of it allocated to 2020. And the 2021 membership dues will be set as they have been. They're actually set in the bylaws, not by board decision, at $25. We'll be using the 2020 membership form for this. That seemed to work out pretty well. I'm going to make one slight change to it, and that change is I might not provide people with an option to say they want an invoice. I might just automatically generate invoices for everyone now. The use of the plugin Autocrat within Google Sheets providing us an ample opportunity to be able to do that relatively easily, just like we generate membership receipts and other receipts, donation receipts and the like, using that type of technology. So no real change in membership, but we will be opening up 2021 membership shortly, giving those that expressed an opportunity to join. Not a whole lot of change financially because there were no expenses. Really, the only expenses we have upcoming are those related to the conference distribution. We had talked about mailing hex stickers to those in attendance, and I've gone ahead and put together a quote for that, including mailing, envelopes, printing, which is negligible thanks to my employer who doesn't necessarily know it yet. We're looking at a total of just about $300 for conference expenses. That will include the generation of the previously mentioned conference stickers, which will be coming from Sticker Mule. They'll also get a general sticker, the koha-US one, of which we'll be ordering another 300 or so because I don't happen to have those. It's either George or Lizette that has the ones that are left over from what we'd put together in Colorado, but we always need more. We could always use more, especially since the general ones will be distributed. And I'm going to use this word purposely here, if there is an ALA annual next summer in Chicago, for which we already have a reserved conference booth. All of this expense, all $300 or whatever it will turn out to be around that number, will come not from any conference expense because there was no conference income. Rather, the entirety of it will be treated as a marketing expense. We do have a marketing line item in the budget. There's $200 associated with that. That was, of course, constructed before the world fell to pieces in March. So we haven't really spent any of that, and it will go slightly over. But conversely, we haven't experienced anything in terms of other expenses related to the conference. With no income, placing it all under a marketing expense is the way to go. A few other matters with regard to the Finance Committee. The bylaws changes and recommendations rather for bylaws changes have been vetted by the Finance Committee and distributed to the board. These bylaw changes would create a new financial manager position, primarily designed to help ensure the stability of the organization, particularly at the vice president and president levels every year. It's also designed to help ensure the stability of the position in the event the treasurer position does not get filled. As Lizette mentioned at the meeting's open, we'll be talking about this a little bit more in next month's general meeting. And because there are bylaw changes, these are things that will be necessarily approved by a vote of the membership. The big real differences here: treasurer runs on a term limited basis. The financial manager does not. The financial manager position is board nominated, not member nominated, and serves at the sole discretion of the board. As a result, the board could at any moment decide they want a financial manager and make a recommendation to that end. The treasurer is member nominated and member voted. The financial manager is also member voted as well, but again, serves at the complete discretion of the board, and the financial manager does not have any term limit like the other positions have in order to keep that desired financial stability. The other big wording change is that in the absence of one of these two positions, that is to say one of these two positions is vacant, the other position assumes all responsibility for both. I basically separated out the more administrative type things like report generation and record keeping and membership into the financial manager. It's the treasurer that will become responsible for the writing of the annual report, the writing of the budget. The financial manager is responsible for providing essentially the supporting documentation for that.
John?
Yes, Christopher.
Quick question on that position, for
Mhm.
that new position. What kinds of checks and accountability are you putting in place for that position?
The reports that the financial manager will generate are intrinsically incorporated into what the Finance Committee reports. Things like the monthly bank balances, the quarterly statement of the organization's finances. The treasurer will write the prose, but the financial manager provides all of the background. So it's really basically all the stuff that I'm doing now, but really split between two positions. The fact that it is served at the sole discretion of the board provides that final level of accountability. The financial manager position is, as currently slated, will receive a vote on the board, which actually would bring us to a 7-member board with 100% attendance and no abstentions. That means we no longer have the possibility of a tie. And as one might expect for a position of this nature, the financial manager would be able to provide signatory authority as necessary for anything that involves finances or a signature required on behalf of the board to open accounts or to make any changes to the accounts. Does that help address your questions, Christopher?
Yes, thank you.
A few other things. We did receive a little bit of threadless income, $18.80 worth from conference-related sales in August. If we are going to get any money from September, we'll probably see that in our PayPal account in about a week, and that will be reported in next month's Finance Committee report. And of course, the end of the calendar year. I've already briefly talked about membership, but stay tuned. Probably around early December is when membership for renewals as well as new members will open up, with the noted exception of those that expressed a possible interest in joining now as a result of attending our virtual conference. They'll be permitted to join early, if only from the standpoint of we want to be able to gather their membership while there is still an expressed interest in being able to do so. And finally, like Lizette mentioned when she talked about board elections, my term as treasurer is about to come to an end, having reached the end of my available term, as well as exhausting my re-election possibilities. If there is anybody that is interested in learning more about the treasurer position and the work that entails, you are certainly encouraged to contact me at treasurer@koha-US.org for additional details and information. Brett apparently has decided to nominate the chicken. And that's it from the Finance Committee. I'm happy to entertain any questions that anybody might have at this time.
Thanks, John. Okay. My Zoom just glitched and Christopher like teleported across his screen. Yeah. Like when I unmuted, it was just like, oh, all the videos are gonna get a little weird for a second. But since Christopher's like going like this, it just like moved him. It was very funny. Okay. Open discussion, bugs, issues, etc. A lot of us, at least Bywater partners, are going to be updating in November and I think, is it all November? Have you got your dates yet, Christopher?
December 7th.
December 7th. Okay, we're early adopters. We're going the first week of November. So we started looking at what's coming in 2005 and thought that might be nice to talk about at this meeting. So I have some bugs. I can just share this. I always go through and read the release notes and write. Let's see. Can you see my notes? It's Google Doc. Okay. Sometimes I share the wrong screen. So then you can just see my blue desktop. These are just like the things that I think are going to be either things we're going to need to do training on, or that might be new features that we need to turn on, or that might change a process. So release notes are out. I don't know yet which like security release we're updating to. So I'm just looking at the basic 2005. Yeah, Heather said in the chat, the very first thing on mine is the Elasticsearch driven browse interface to the OPAC, which I haven't actually looked at yet. I don't know. Heather, have you seen that in action at all?
I haven't seen it in action yet, but the steps toward it looked really good. And reading through the bug, it looks like it has a lot of potential.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've seen too. Just that it sounds great. I'm very interested in testing it out. If you have Elasticsearch, there will be a nice, what sounds like a very nice browse interface where you can say like browse here and look at other items that are similar to what you're looking at. There's also a lot of purchase suggestion updates, such as the ability to suggest purchases from existing titles, which some libraries may find more or less use from. For us, it's especially useful if either the only copies in the system are marked as lost or damaged, or the only copies in the system are at a library that's closed. Like we close a bunch of school libraries over the summer. So sometimes we put in purchase suggestions where we say, you know, Lewiston Elementary School's the only one that has a copy of this. And sometimes our purchasers still get it if it's available. An alert during purchase suggestion submissions to warn when. So this, I don't know why that is doubled. This one, bug 14973, it does like it's not a great search, but a little bit of search. If the title and author match an existing biblio, it'll warn them. Although I signed off on it, I did testing. I don't remember how it does if, say, there's a biblio that exists, but no items can be placed on hold, or they're all hidden from the OPAC. So that's something we're going to have to test. But we're hoping that that'll reduce a little bit the when there's like a new book coming out and maybe they didn't search, they just thought, oh, it's coming out, I better put in a purchase suggestion, but like Lewiston already has a copy in the system. So that should be nice. Also, the ability to limit the number of purchase suggestions a patron can submit in a specified time period. Right now, it can only limit based on open suggestions, which doesn't work with our, you know, we mark our purchase suggestions with a different status almost immediately after placing them. If we're placing them for patron as staff, we usually go in and change it because we use the statuses to do like sent to adult, sent to youth, and then our librarians look at them from there. And so right now the limit on open ones doesn't really apply. So our consortium is very excited about that. Also the ability to archive purchase suggestions, because if you have a lot, it slows down that screen. So the archive should help without having to delete them, which is what we do now once we've gathered statistics, and as long as a hold's been placed, or it's been, if it was rejected, then a certain amount of time after it's been rejected. But that means that data does get lost. And the ability to change the manager of a suggestion and notify the new manager, which might actually replace some of our suggest status stuff that we've been doing. And with the ability to add purchase suggestion submissions from existing titles, there's a new suggestion details tab on bibliographic records when they're linked up like that. So lots of new purchase suggestion updates that we think will be relevant for us at least. There's also issuing rules table is getting moved into the circulation rules table. So reports will need to be updated for that. I think all the field names are staying the same. They're just moving around some stuff. Add ability to move and reorder fields and subfields in the MARC editor. I know that's something our cataloger at Moscow is really excited for. And also the ability to mark some MARC tags and subfields as important and alert on saving the record if they're found to be empty. I haven't actually talked to our cataloger about that one yet, but I think she might be interested in that also. The ability to record what triggered a transfer will be really helpful for consortiums, because right now, like, stock rotation doesn't record any differently when it's what's triggered a transfer. So if you're like trying to write reports for what should be rotating because of stock rotation, it also picks up just anything that's in transit from that library that's part of a stock rotation rota. So just some more data there will be helpful with tracking stuff down and reporting. On the OPAC at least, maybe also, I think on both the OPAC and the staff side, on the charges tab, it'll say now like how much is outstanding. You know, like on the patron screen on the right hand side where it has like batch checkout details, charges, it'll tell you like $5 if they've got $5 of charges. And that's just, you know, another place where you can see how much it is. And I think it's going to show that on the patron side also. So if they're looking at those tabs, they'll see it. Manual invoice, you can do a save and pay button now. So if you're like, we want to have a record in Koha that we did this manual invoice, but they're paying for it right now, you can hit save and pay and just like take out the number of clicks for your staff members. Heather said 7882 for reordering the MARC fields is wonderful. You're gonna be able to discount process to accounts. So if you're doing a payment and you want to discount a charge, you can do that now, which I don't know that we'll use that much since we don't have fines anymore, or how exactly that works. But that's something I'm interested in looking more into. It'll warn patrons now if they're putting multiple holds on the same item, which I think will be helpful because sometimes we have people put a hold on something and then go back a week later and put a hold on it again because they don't realize they already put a hold on it. And then get confused when they return the item and it comes up on hold for them again, like immediately. So because we'll let people place multiple holds. So the people who are placing multiple holds on purpose will see a message, but they'll still be able to say, yeah, I still want to do this. And it'll just hopefully reduce the number of patrons who don't actually want 2 holds on an item. Add ability to define groups of locations for hold pickup. And this is one that I need to look into more. That's why it's on there. I don't think it works the way we need it to, just from reading the bug. But that could be helpful for some other libraries. And actually right now it might be helpful if it does work the way I think it does, because not all of our libraries are open right now. Because part of it was limiting who could place holds on certain items, like which libraries they could be picked up at, from what I understood from the bug. There's going to be some more action logs for holds. They took some stuff out of the action logs a few updates ago because it would spam them that was holds related. And now they're adding it back in, but better. So it won't spam the logs, but will still give you a little more information than you can get right now out of the hold log action logs for holds. They're also adding a way to utilize a specific reply to email address for some notices, which can be helpful. Like we're talking about using it for interlibrary loan, especially. If anyone wants this list too, you can let me know and I can just share this Google Doc with you.
But I'm frantically writing everything down for the minutes.
I just noticed in the video that I was like,
okay,
yeah, I could just
please share
make
that
the
with
link
me.
shareable and you can even just put it in the minutes.
Great.
For example,
no, you can't have it. Just you.
Utilizing a specific reply to email addresses for some notice, that could be really helpful, especially for consortiums, because you'll be able to set up a reply to for certain notices for certain branches. So if you wanted to set it up where people could reply and get, the interlibrary loan person when they got a certain notice or something, you could set that up. They're also, and this could be really helpful, separating the time sent from time created in the message queue table. So we'll be able to see if a message was when the message was created and when it was sent separately, instead of just when it was sent, which for troubleshooting can be helpful. They're also putting in some library pages to the OPAC. All that information that you can put in for each library in the administration when you're setting up branches. There's not really a good place right now on the OPAC to find that. So they're adding kind of a view-only interface that has a list of libraries. And then also you can click on the library to open up more information about that branch. And so especially multi-branch systems, I think will find that helpful. And I think I'm going to test it when, as soon as we update, but I think that you're able to put some HTML in one of the boxes, so you can even do some neat stuff. There's kind of a notes box, and I think that takes HTML if you wanted to put in interesting things in there using HTML. There's a lot of stuff. We don't necessarily need to go through each one, but we have time. Adding the material specified to the OPAC is another thing that's coming. So if you put in 3 discs, 1 booklet on your DVD, patrons will be able to see that there too. And I think that's a column, so you can have it not turned on if you don't want it turned on, if for some reason you don't want to share that. Making it easier to update the results per page setting for catalog search in the staff client and OPAC. And I think that's just for searching the catalog, not for the cataloger search. On On the OPAC summary, it'll show a message if holds are blocked due to fines, instead of just saying you can't place holds when you try to place holds. So that should like warn patrons when they log in and look at their account, which will be helpful for those patrons. The OPAC header system preference is moving into the news block, as many of the OPAC preferences have been doing. For the most part, you only will notice when you go to update that. Sometime it shouldn't really affect you until you need to change something. Oh, this one I'm really looking forward to. The collapse areas of the patron ad form option. Currently, we're using some jQuery to collapse some sections that we don't use by default, but don't want to hide entirely, because like we put a PO box in the mailing address, but if we still want to put in the like street address, we use the alternate contact field, but most of the time we just have that collapsed. So being able to take some jQuery out and do that within Koha, it's always nice when jQuery gets replaced with actual features and works, and then doesn't break when you have an update because one line of your jQuery doesn't work anymore. Oh, also the ability to choose which fields are copied when you're adding a guarantee from a guarantor. Yeah. I don't even remember what it copies right now, but I know it's never what I think it's going to be. Every time I do it, I'm like, oh, wait, it didn't copy this, or it did copy that. So that'll be nice. And I think that's a system preference that does that. Oh, circulation and OPAC notes on the patron screens are going to have line feeds now. So if you hit enter, it will make a new line instead of like we use HTML line breaks. No, not in those ones because we can't. We just put lots of spaces or don't have line breaks.
Watch tomorrow's video and then you will be able to.
In the, oh wait, is that in the notes, not the messages?
You can do it in several places.
Okay. In the ones that you can use HTML, we use a break, like the HTML line break. But in the ones that we can't, we don't do line breaks right now. So that'll be nice. This was my bug that I reported. The SMS provider doesn't currently show on the patron detail screen. To see it, you have to open up the patron edit button to see if they have a provider and who it is, which, as I'm the person who checks all of our applications for accuracy, anyone who has a text message number, I have to go make sure they have a provider. And that it's the one that matches their application form. So I'm very excited that this is getting fixed because it'll make my job easier directly. Attempting to delete a patron with outstanding contacts will warn but not block the deletion. So I think that this lets you still delete those patrons now instead of just not being allowed to. I think it'll give you the option to delete, to say, yeah, still delete those patrons. Add in, let's see. Fred said 3137 is great for us. We only need name, email, phone, and card number. Yeah. I think especially a lot of smaller libraries will be very excited that just grab very specific minimal information. Although couldn't you just mark those as, isn't there a way to just straight up hide fields on there? I think.
Yeah, because we hid the street number field because we didn't like that.
Yeah,
I'm
isn't
pretty
there
sure
a
there's
borrower unwanted field system preference?
Probably, but I haven't found it yet.
I think it's called borrower unwanted fields.
Okay.
I know the OPAC one is called OPAC borrower unwanted fields. And I think the staff side is just borrower unwanted fields.
So basically, you're telling Fred that his joy is unwarranted.
Oh, dang.
Oh,
I'm
well.
sorry, Fred. I didn't mean to crush your joy.
Yeah, high level dream crushing here.
I think I'll survive.
But this also means you can, do this before you update to 2005.
Yes.
Code mirror
That's my
linting is getting is getting added to JavaScript, CSS, HTML, system preferences. So it'll be able to tell you if you forgot a comma when you edited your jQuery and everything is not going to work now. That'll be really nice. Especially if you're just doing like a small change and accidentally delete a semicolon. So that should be nice. Oh yeah, there's like this is another one that I just want to look into more, but add ability to apply regular expressions to text field in batch item modification tool. It looks like you'll be able to kind of say like, if the call number includes this, change it to that. And so like if you're trying to update like all your call numbers for like switching to BISAC or something, then
I'm drooling right now. I just need you to know.
oh yeah, you're very
This
excited
is
about that one.
exciting. Yes. I have so many call number things I could fix with this.
Yeah, so I thought that was really interesting. I don't know how much our library will use it, but I think it's sounds like it's going to be a really good tool. Add option to import / override passwords when using the patron import tool. A lot of our schools issue cards to everybody, or it's like part of the registration process is if you want to sign up for a library card and then just do it all there. And so being able to put in the way that our passwords are defaulted, that should make things much easier for our schools that do that. Heather said she's also looking forward to 3137 and also being able to standardize like V versus vol versus volume in your call numbers. That'll be nice. There's also this thing about like defined circulation desks, which I think could be helpful, where when you log in, you can say like, this is, you would like set up different circulation desks. So like for Moscow, we'd probably set up like downstairs where we do check-ins circulation desk and our like zone 1 circ desk and our zone 2 circ desk, which are just like different people are assigned different tasks at different desks. And because we all have a shared login, like so all the Moscow people log in with like MosCirc. And oh, you know, I can put the link in the chat too if people want to be looking at this right now. And that'll be helpful for like reporting because sometimes we don't know what happened to something because there's like 5 different desks that people can be logged in as MosCirc Plus. And how will we know, you know, was it upstairs or downstairs or so this is something I'm very interested in. And I know, I don't remember how much of it is in this, but there's also some like, because they're also adding some cash register things, which is kind of what some of this, like the cash up process is kind of related to that. And the point of sale screen. So you either in 2005 or in one of the updates, you'll also be able to like assign cash registers to the different circulation desks to help like keep everything straight. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, these are just adding cash up, refund, and payout processes to accounts, which I think tie in with the point of sale screen. So just being able to have like a built-in point of sale option for libraries. Like if you want to, I don't know exactly how it works. I'm going to look more into it. That's part of why it's on my list. Adding the circulation process to interlibrary loans so that you can like check out ILL through the circ or through the IL module when you're doing that process. Oh yeah, this one I'm very excited for. Context sensitive report a problem process. So there'll be like a report a problem button and it'll give you information. And if I recall correctly, you can set up where that goes. So like we have like a group in our consortium that does system administration stuff. And so I think you'll be able to, yeah, there's a problem report management area. So on the OPAC, patrons can report a problem, and then there'll be an area where staff members can look at the problems and be able to see that. And that will be a preference. So if you don't want that turned on, you don't have to turn it on. I think there's a good chance that we'll upgrade to at least 20.05.03, but I wasn't sure. But when canceling a waiting hold, when you check it in, which is how we cancel our expired holds at my branch, it will look to for a new hold to fill without rescanning the barcode, which will be really nice.
I want that too.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that. I really need to figure out how to convince my administration that we should early adopt. So many good things.
How I ended up convincing them was we end up finding a bunch of problems when we adopt anyway, so we might as well early adopt and get it sooner. Also, I've noticed as an early adopter, because there's less people doing it, when I early adopt and find problems, they usually fix it right away because they want to get it fixed before they upgrade everybody else. So at least the big stuff gets fixed pretty fast. So we're really excited about this because that's how we cancel all of our expired holds. And there's often other holds on them. I haven't, and I'm going to check to see if it also does transfers, if there's just like, if it's returning home, because that would be ideal. And if not, I'm going to go find a bug request for it. Also in that security update, club hold pickup locations will be able to default to the patron's home library, so we can actually start using that feature. We haven't talked about turning it on yet because of that problem. Also more news block system preference switches, code mirror editing for HTML. So if you want to edit it all in HTML instead of a visual editor, and there is a bug that I don't think has been pushed yet to make it a toggle. So you can default it to like not HTML for people, but have the option for people to just switch on the fly. Do you have snow on your, Jason? It looks like there's snow in your house or something.
No, it's probably just dirt.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of dust flying by. I don't know. My HVAC hasn't been running because the temperature is just right, so it hasn't been filtering out the nasty stuff.
Yeah.
But yes, it's snowing. It's 80 degrees and snowing in Kansas.
Oh my gosh, it's 46 degrees here now. It's got 2 degrees warmer since the meeting started. So,
as long as it's not raining on your desk. That happened to me once.
Yeah. I was in a meeting yesterday where someone started getting water coming down. Just a little bit, not, I did this, but just like some drops were coming down, and she was like, I'll be back. I have to go talk to our building person.
Burst pipe.
Elasticsearch home and holding branch facets are limited to 10 right now, which has been a big problem for our schools because they're not showing up in the facets at all. So that'll be fixed hopefully with this update, or if not, with a security update shortly after. And also an advanced search on the OPAC with no limiter, with a limiter, like say item type, but no search terms, fails when resorted, which is a problem for us because we have some like links on our website that are like, hey, check out our new DVDs, which we just use like the shelving location item type searches and sort it by newest. And then we had a patron who tried to sort it alphabetical and it broke. And we also have other patrons who will just do that like when they want to browse, especially when we were closed. We were having it happen a lot. So excited to see that fixed. So those are my 20.05 interesting things. There was other things. I know that was a lot of bugs. There was a lot of bugs on this this version's thing. So there's even more, like there's more stuff in acquisitions, but we don't use orders for acquisition. We don't do orders. So and there was a lot of stuff that like won't really change anything because it's just little tweaks. Oh, more or less.
I threw this in chat. This is something that is being worked on right now. Our consortium is seeing a lot of timeout errors in Koha lately. They're finding that when items are checked in, they can be re-indexed a number of times with one check-in. And so this is supposed to help alleviate that. So since we are one of the early adopters of Elasticsearch, it's getting quick movement to try and fix this. But we've been seeing some slowdowns and actual timeout errors in Koha during heavy check-in periods.
And it looks like this you're using like the quarantine status or something.
We're not, no.
Oh, okay, but
they're just making sure all of that functionality
that all of it's covered
works.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically nothing changes in workflow. It simply only indexes once rather than 4, 5, 10 times for a single item that's being checked in, because when you check in something, depending on what process it's doing, it may trigger that index multiple times, and they're trying to prevent that.
Yeah.
So I do have.
And I see it's signed off, and it was modified just today by someone. So, oh yeah, Jonathan added it as a 2011 target, and I saw they're trying to get 2011 any big changes frozen by the end of this week, and any small changes frozen by the end of October, because they don't want to push any big stuff during KohaCon next week. So they're trying to freeze the big stuff before then.
I threw this bug out yesterday. I actually have some jQuery to reproduce this, but basically I improved the navigation for the reports page on the. For some reason, when you go to your saved reports, they give you a really condensed navigation menu on the left. But when you go anywhere else in reports, they give you the full reports navigation. And so I replicate that, and then I force the reports icon to go straight to the saved reports page, and it eliminates an entire page. You don't have to go to the reports page and then go to saved. It goes straight there, and you still have access to everything else that was on that original reports page.
So that's this, this doesn't have, it's got only a few items here as
right.
opposed to like all of these.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you go to the cash register, yeah, right there, you'll notice that yeah. Navigation is much more just more populated and has most of everything that's on that page. So I basically replicated that, replaced the navigation menu on that page, and then just pointed to that page.
Yeah.
Andrew liked that idea. I encourage anybody that wants to chime in on that to do so, because I'm all for one less click and getting to where I need to go faster.
And the search by keyword is only really relevant for the saved reports anyway. So doesn't need to be. Yeah, I like that. I'm gonna. Cool.
I've got one more to throw at you.
Yeah. Oh, I'm apparently not authorized to access that bug.
That's weird. Well, maybe it's probably because it's in the security. I filed it under security. If you log into the OPAC, I don't know if most of you are aware of this, but when you log into the OPAC, the patron's name, full name, is displayed 4 times on the same page, which is really odd. It's not a very secure thing to do to display someone's name, full name, so many times. They only need it once, and then they don't even need to do the full name. So I filed a bug asking them to reduce it down to once, because I mean they don't need to, they know who they are. They don't need to have their name repeated 4 times on the page, and they don't need their full name displayed. So first name is sufficient. So I filed that bug on there. It's not, you don't think of it when you're at home, but when you're in a library on a catalog station or wherever in the library, and that information is being plastered everywhere, people don't like that. Same thing on self checks. They don't like their full name displayed on there. They don't like it where somebody halfway across the room can actually see it. So little privacy does the patron good. So anyways, I threw that in the security, and that's probably why you can't see it.
Yeah. Here, and I'll show the 4 places. One sec. I'm just hiding my middle name, even though I think when we got Zoom bombed that one time, I think that was included. So these are the 4 places that it has your whole name. And so that's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I click here if this isn't you is much more common now.
Especially since it's right under your name. It's like
yeah.
So
and does it really need to be in the breadcrumbs?
Yeah. I actually wrote some jQuery and reduced the welcome down to the first name, and then replaced the name in the breadcrumbs with like patron something, I can't remember, patron information or something like that, and then it it says hello, so and so, first name only, and then if this is not you, click. So
yeah,
reduced it down quite a bit. So yeah, it's overkill.
Yeah, the meeting is recorded and they get posted on our YouTube page, youtube.com/ oh man, I'm mirrored, regular / koha-US, all one word. And they get posted there pretty quickly, usually. Few days.
Within a day or two, depending on how busy I am.
So all our general meeting and all of our special interest group meetings are recorded and posted on YouTube within a couple days.
And I would like to congratulate Jason for uploading the conference usually a few hours after the presentation.
It took a while to recover from the conference. I'm still kind of dragging because I had a conference for like the full next week after that. It's been fun times in virtual conference land.
Kohathon.
Oh yes.
Starting Sunday.
Sunday. I looked it up. Finally, for me, it's like 3 p.m. to midnight, like George said, every day. So
yeah. Well, and it's
Uh,
like, so the first 3 days of the conference are 12 p.m. to midnight. And then there's like the cultural day, which I don't think they're doing anything digitally. So I'm taking that day off so I don't go over my hours. And then Thursday, there's only one workshop online. And it's at like, I think it's pretty early in the day there. So I'll probably work more normal hours Thursday. And then Friday, Saturday are like I don't remember what they're calling them, but it's like work, work days, Koha DIY, I think is what they called it. Actually do work on stuff. And it sounds like they might be, not necessarily for online participants aren't necessarily going to be sticking to the same hours, just try and get people to be working on signing off bugs and writing patches and troubleshooting stuff. So I'll probably start a little earlier in the day. For my time, it's like 8:45 to or like basically 1 p.m. till 9 p.m. for those. So I'll probably do like a more closer to my regular day and not work quite so late.
Yeah, I'm probably going to just look at the recordings because I think I'm going to be asleep when most of the presentations are on. But I did upload mine. They wanted it by Monday. This last Monday, I got it up in time if I were posting from Denver or Pocatello or something.
Yeah. Well,
But
they
they
said
say it's okay.
anytime that day, no matter what time zone. So.
Well, it was actually 2 a.m. on Tuesday when I uploaded it.
But any time zone.
Yes.
So.
And I'm still recovering from that.
Yeah, and I did 2 pre-recorded presentations, one about some jQuery that we're using here. Well, just kind of a lot of it was kind of problems we face as a consortium that maybe people don't know about, and some of what we do, either just based on our processes or especially some jQuery customization for the purchase suggestions page for the OPEC based on the patrons logged in library. Did that. And then I'm also presenting on what koha-US has been up to since Portland, because we did kind of a what koha-US has been up to before Portland presentation there. So just kind of a talk about our conferences and our SIGs and all that fun stuff. Quick little lightning round. Okay. I think we're all set, unless anyone had anything else they wanted to talk about. Our next meeting will be November 11th. Oh, wait. We're closed on November 11th. Probably a bunch of libraries are closed on November 11th.
Yeah, we didn't even look at this at the board meeting. We might want to reschedule.
Do we want to just push it out to the 18th? It'd be good probably to make that decision while we're here.
Wouldn't that conflict with the education committee?
It does, yes.
Yes. That is one problem with scheduling all our meetings at the same time on different Wednesdays. When we need to reschedule, we can't necessarily just push it out.
It is more convenient to remember, though.
Yeah.
And we could also just ask people when they want to meet.
Yeah.
We didn't have a huge attendance at this meeting, so maybe we solicit opinions between now and then, we could get a giant turnout for our election nomination meeting.
Yeah. So we'll maybe send out like a doodle poll or something to the rest. Let's see. Well, November 4th is when wait, that's the board meeting though.
But we didn't talk
maybe.
with Rhonda. Can we meet that day? I mean, if
oh yeah,
we've been shifting it to Thursday, so maybe November 4th would work, and we can. Except we'd need to have the board meeting before the general meeting. I don't know.
We'll send out a doodle poll to
Yeah.
or similar, or a
We'll
frame
figure it
event
out.
poll or whatever to the mailing list like this week and try and get it figured out in advance.
Yes.
So, yes. Yeah, we didn't talk about the next board meeting date at our last meeting either, but we should probably figure that out too. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll send out emails with the information and also a doodle poll or similar for figuring out our next general meeting. And I see, let's see, someone raised their hand. Maram, I'm probably saying that wrong, and I'm sorry.
Hello,
Hi.
can you hear me?
Mhm.
I'm Maram from Syria. I'm so exciting to sharing with you this meeting. My English not so good, but I want to translate to. Oh, um, I want to know that in my company, Manara University, at libraries, we use Koha. It's a painful system. I'm not sure if my English good, but I wish the meaning. So I will try to write what's my opinion. Nice to see to be with you in this meeting. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Welcome. So I
That's
think
welcome.
we'll wrap up this meeting for this month and see everyone next month.